the city, motoring down from Chelsea to grace us all. There's no earthly reason you would consider anyone else's feelings, especially not at Christmas. How utterly silly of me." Stephen dangled his leg over the arm of the chair and ostentatiously yawned, a gesture designed when he was 13 to provoke her and faultlessly finessed since then. "Well, it appears to me that I'm rather deserving of a little entertainment at Christmas." Stephen carelessly drove his hand through his hair that had always given him a decidedly cherubic demeanour, an illusion that had seen him disentangle himself from innumerable scrapes during his school career and beyond. "Money doesn't make itself. I work like a beast at the bank, and I shall jolly well take my fun when and where I can. Yes, fun, Lydia, a concept alien to you and our dear little brother, so do excuse my enjoying myself while little Edward scurries around the gutter being a holier-than-thou do-gooder, telling us all how awful we are because we don't live in squalor. And while you maintain your profoundly pathetic commitment to being an old maid rattling around this blasted house, which won't ever actually be yours. Yes, do accept my apologies." Snarling and indignant, her hazel eyes flashing, Lydia spat. "You're an ass, Stephen, a pompous ass, and when you inherit this house I hope it crumbles around you." "Well, well, well, is that kind of language really called for, darling?" Lord Westbury placed a rather trembling hand on his daughter's shoulder. Lydia, consumed by indignation in the face of Stephen's goading, had failed to notice her mother and father entering the library behind her. Stephen, ever vigilant to the presence of his parents and therefore eternally well-placed to manipulate a situation to his advantage, had been gleefully aware of Lord and Lady Westbury witnessing his sister's outburst. Lady Westbury glided over to her son and kissed his forehead lightly. Still a striking woman, her understated charisma and attractive composure had earned her ardent fans ever since she was a debutante, and invitations to her soirées were, to this day, highly coveted. Turning to her daughter, she purred. "Darling, I really think you ought to exercise a little more delicacy. It is rather unbecoming to hear such ugly words issued from so pretty a mouth." "Oh, Mother, it's 1938, not 1838. Shockingly, it's believed in certain quarters that women might, just might, be able to curse without spontaneously combusting, and in any case I'm not one of those prim little moppets you seem intent on convincing everyone that I am," Lydia retorted, pacing to the window in a bid to avoid the smug face of her brother. "I shan't need smelling salts for uttering the word ass any more than I shall swoon should any gentleman dare to address me." "Damned shocking business if any gentleman bothered to address you any more, eh, sis? You've scared 'em all off, haven't you?" Stephen stretched and winked at his father. Now, Stephen, let's have none of that." Lord Westbury's somewhat half-hearted reprimand was accompanied by a suppressed smile. Lydia had always been a mystery to her father. 3 proposals she had received and 3 proposals she had declined, in increasingly impatient terms. Lord Westbury had countless questions regarding his only daughter's predicament. 32 and unmarried, but having witnessed the short shrift with which she treated most enquiries on the matter, he knew he would never dare pose them. Stephen, on the other hand, 3 years younger than Lord Westbury's riddle of a daughter, a chap one knew the measure of, a solid chap who would undoubtedly take the Westbury name to ever greater heights. As for his youngest child, Edward, well, the less said about him the better, running around with all this newspaper business by day, spending his weekends serving up slop for the down-and-outs at the charitable house run by gullible do-gooders for the benefit of scrounging swindlers. He was living goodness knew where in London, turning his nose up at his allowance. Lord Westbury knew he mustn't dwell on Edward. That way frustration lay. Where was Edward in any case, he wondered, no doubt still upstairs scribbling some article about those squalid people he insisted had been doomed to destitution through no fault of their own. "My boy, I think it's high time you clambered out of your..."